Are you guys ready for another episode of Miss Viz's Kitchen? Woohoo! I hope you are. Today we're gonna be doing some work with these lovely vegetables. We're going to make a sheet pan dinner. First thing that we need to do is wash all of our vegetables, and then any ones that we don't want to eat the peel. For me, with the carrot, I'm gonna peel it, and I'm gonna peel the beet, and then the potato, I'm just gonna leave the skin on and wash it really well. One of the things I love about this dish is you can use whatever vegetables pretty much that you want. I love mushrooms and sweet potatoes, so usually sweet potatoes for sure are included, but I don't have any today, so I'm just using whatever I found in the fridge. One thing I love too is that there are just so many colors and textures. When we get to use all these different ingredients and foods, it's like we're joining with God who created them, and we get to add to the flavors or play around with the colors, and it's kind of like we make art. So what we're gonna do first is we are going to mix together our root vegetables. So anything that's not a root vegetable can go off to the side for a little bit, and you're gonna preheat your oven to, let's do 400 degrees. I'm gonna start with the potato. I'm gonna cut it into cubes. It's always nice to have a flat end to cut down towards so that the potato doesn't wobble around. When my mom does this, or a meal kind of like this, she usually just throws some oil onto a cookie sheet and mixes it right on the cookie sheet. You can also mix it in a bowl, so that's what I'm gonna do today. You can throw don't throw actually, bad deal in the kitchen. You can put a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons of oil into your bowl. So I'm just gonna pour some in, and then I'm going to toss my potatoes in there when they are all chopped up. This carrot, I'm going to cut into long strips because I just think that looks really cool. With a carrot, it's easiest to start at the skinny end and move towards the fat end. My carrots are super long, so I'm gonna cut them in half one more time. For my onion, I'm just going to quarter it and then pull the pieces apart. Well, actually it's already in half, so I'm gonna cut this into 4 sections. I'm just gonna break these pieces apart. I have my garlic here. So I actually like garlic when it's roasted. So this is a really big clove. I'm just gonna cut this clove in half. The reason I don't want it smaller is because it might burn. I'll show with a couple more. So they have this skin on it. This bottom part I cut off. You can see right there. That part I cut off. And then I'm gonna take the skin off as well. And then this guy I'm just gonna chop in half. And I'll add a few more. Finally, I have this beet. I want to add another shape. So for my beets, I'm going to cut them into wedges. I kind of think those are a bit big, so I'm actually going to cut them in half again. I don't really want to eat that big of a chunk of beet. Now I have my bowl full of vegetables. I am going to toss the oil, or toss them in the oil, and then put them on my pan. These are quite oily, but that's okay. With your vegetables in the bowl, we're going to add some seasonings. You don't really have to add seasonings. God puts so much flavor in these vegetables that they taste quite good already. I love some herbs and spices, so I'm just gonna add some. No matter what, I do recommend that you add some salt. Probably you're gonna wonder how much you should put of the seasonings, and it kind of depends how many vegetables you have and the size of your vegetables and what you like. So I'm gonna show you what I do, and one of my ways of deciding is just by biting into one of the raw vegetables. So my other favorite things to add are basil and oregano, and I also love to add some chili powder. I'm going to mix these around. Now I'm gonna toss them on the sheet. As I said, in order to check if I have enough salt or if I like the seasonings I put on it, I'm going to eat one of these raw vegetables. I'm going to take a small potato and I'm gonna bite it. Okay, so I taste the salt. I taste some of the seasonings. I like it. I'm not a huge fan of raw potato, but I know what the seasoning's like and it's good. When my oven preheats, I'm going to put just the root vegetables in because the root vegetables cook more slowly. Before I put my vegetables in the oven, I'm gonna add some meat. So you could add a breast of chicken, or you could add like some pork. I have some Smokies here. I'm just gonna throw 2 Smokies on my pan with my vegetables so that I have some protein along with my vegetables. All right, we're just popping these guys in the oven. We'll leave them there for about 15 minutes. While the root vegetables cook, I'm going to cut up my other vegetables. So we have a pepper. Lots of people cut peppers different ways. The way that I do it is I usually just cut it in half, and I just rip out the center. Again, I'm kind of into seeing if I can add cool shapes. So instead of cutting my pepper lengthwise, like you often see, I'm gonna cut it across this way. Because we get these kind of like funky M shapes. I now have my zucchini. I'm gonna try to teach you guys how to do a roll cut. It looks pretty simple, but when you try to do it, sometimes it messes with your brain. So for a roll cut, you're going to hold your knife at an angle. So I'm gonna do 1 cut of my zucchini. So you can see I cut it at an angle. I'm gonna turn my zucchini over halfway, and I'm gonna keep my knife at the same angle, and I'm gonna cut it again. So now I have this kind of funky triangular shaped kind of zucchini. And now I'm gonna keep my knife at the same angle, and I'm gonna just cut my zucchini again. And I'm gonna keep doing that. So I have these kind of like odd shapes of zucchini, which I think is pretty fun. I'm gonna toss those into my bowl with the oil, and it still has some seasonings, and I'm gonna stir them around. There's enough oil left in my bowl that they're actually getting oily and seasoned, so I'm happy with that. After 15 minutes, this is what my vegetables look like. All right, I'm just gonna give my veggies a little stir just to make sure they're not sticking to my pan. And then I'm going to throw on any of my other vegetables. Sometimes if I do this, I'm just too lazy to take time to pull the vegetables out and add other vegetables. So I just put them all on at the same time, which is fine. Mix these in a little bit. And I'll stick it back in the oven for another 15 minutes. One more thing I love to add to my vegetables is kale. Now, lots of people don't like kale, but I do love it. So I'm gonna add some on top. I'm just gonna cut the leaves off the stalk and chop it up a little bit. It's just another fun texture, and I know getting leafy greens is supposed to be so good for you. Just gonna make sure that they get some oil on them from my bowl. Kale only needs about 5 minutes. It's fun because it gets a little bit crispy like kale chips, but now it's all oily, so it's all ready to go on when I'm ready. All right, I'm gonna put a timer on for just 5 more minutes. And I am going to take out these vegetables, give them a stir. Right now, I'm pretty sure most things are ready to eat. My zucchini is soft there, but because I want my kale in there too, I am going to put it back in the oven for about 5 more minutes. Let's throw that kale on top, a little bit of green. Oh, those colors are so beautiful. All right, let's take these out of the oven. Man, that looks so good. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe. If you make it, make sure to send me a picture so I can see what veggies you put in your sheet pan dinner. Bye!